Heather McDonald has got the juiciest scoop. When you're on the road, when you're on the go, Juicy Scoop is the show to know. She talks Hollywood tales, her real life Mr. Segment serial data, and serial sister. You'll be addicted and addicted fast to the #1 tabloid real life podcast. Listen in, listen up. Woo woo. Heather McDonald, Juicy Scoop.
Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. I have my girls from 2023 into 2024, Brandy and Julie. Welcome to the new year.
New year, new studio.
For today, we don't know. You know what? I'm going to keep you guys guessing, though. I'd love to hear your opinion. If you're watching this, you can on YouTube, then you can see that we're in a new studio. Let me know if I look as cute as I did when I shot my last episode, which was in La Quinta. I did a solo there.
With the natural light.
It's so good. So you guys are going to come out another weekend. We had so much fun, and we will shoot in that beautiful light again.
Yes.
Yes.
Or will we all just stand in a line with the light coming in?
I'll be like, it's now or never. Because it's a good light. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, which are Julie's earrings.
I mean, please.
I couldn't find them after you guys left, and it appears that you've now stolen my earrings.
Well, I mean, I think stolen is just
It's a strong word.
Yeah, well, I asked to borrow them, and you said I could, so I did. And you never gave me a date of which they needed to be returned.
And now
so
you
I've
look like a
continued
pirate.
to
Well, what
lady
happened
pirate.
was that I also possess the earrings, or I did.
Yes.
And I wore them one time
Out.
in La Quinta.
Yeah.
We had an amazing star-studded night, and in the Uber on the way home, I simply removed one, and the post broke off. The earring broke after one time, so I'm not surprised it didn't withstand your dancing
in St. Bart.
Yes.
But you're like, Heather, that's old news. Yes, it is. And it's 2024. So let's get into the new news. So much to cover, so much juice.
So much.
Just
I'm going to
to
go ahead and
discuss.
remove these.
And you'd like to give them to me now?
Yeah. They're too heavy.
Let's, okay,
She doesn't know
let's
how.
talk about it. The Golden Globes. I watched it last night, which was so nice because whatever TV system we have now, I was able to watch it at 5. Is that for the whole world? I don't know. That's when I watched it, and I liked watching it at 5. And, of course, my favorite look of the night was Jennifer Lopez because she's always my favorite look. And when I am nominated for an Emmy or whatever other thing, this is exactly the style of dress I'm going to do. I've been thinking about it for the last 20 years of what I would do for when I'm nominated for an award, and this is it. Now, this color pink, I don't know if I'll do it, it's a little demanding, but it's a pink strapless dress, and then these big rose sleeves that go around, so it's strapless, but then you have it up to your sleeve, so it'll cover any kind of fat arm, any vagina armpit, nothing. Any back fat squirting out from the strapless is covered by the cape. For me, I have a flat ass that will cover it. It's dramatic, it's flattering, and thank
Still
you,
tight
J-Lo.
on the figure.
Thank you, J-Lo, for finding me the dress that's going to work for me.
That is beautiful.
Okay,
Wow.
so then I also want to say, this is my other favorite dress. This was Heidi Klum. Again, tight bodice, big bottom, one skinny long leg coming out. It's a perfect Heather
Two
dress.
skinny arms, too. Wow, she looks good.
Amazing. Oprah could be the skinniest girl at the party.
Wow.
Honey.
She has done it.
She is about a size 2, you guys.
A
and
size
get
2?
used to it. I am skinny!
And wearing purple, which is the color of
Purple.
royalty.
Color of purple,
Right.
which was the movie nominated.
Yeah, she's doing it for the movie, but I do kind of wish Oprah was in black. I think she looks so good in black with her
I thought you said, I wish Oprah wasn't black. And I was like, and that is our show. It's been great being...
and that's our friendship as well.
This is my career? Thank you. It's been really fun being part of it. You said you wish she was in black?
Yeah,
Why?
because I love when she wears black. I think she looks so good in black. And then she always has these expensive glasses on that look like she brought in a team of architects to build an entire glass to her face. She's so pretty, Oprah. And I mean, I know I'm not the biggest fan of purple.
And long hair. I mean, she looks like the hottest influencer that just went to the Gypsy Rose Blanchard premiere party on Hulu, which we'll get to in a minute.
She doesn't age either.
She looks amazing.
Amazing.
Also, I want to say one thing that she did, which is a great idea for anybody that wants to have a big party, is you tell everybody you got to wear black to my party, and then you show up in red.
I love that.
And she did that for her 50th birthday.
Ooh.
It's a great idea. Okay, then Jennifer Aniston shows up, beautiful black dress, but the big thing is the haircut is back to being the Rachel. However, I think it's a mistake. Because the hair is not the thickness of the hair that she had when she was doing Friends. And I think it looks better, longer, blonder. That's what I would say. And as Jennifer Aniston, it's like, well, God, Heather, maybe I just wanted it easy, breezy, and light. I am doing a show with Reese, and we were excited. And I was like, you know what? Bring back the cut that's simple. I'm a woman of a certain age. I'm not trying to be young like you with your long locks.
Yours is,
But her arm looks great.
yours is staying thick.
It's fortunately it has been a little. I've had to do other things. I use Whey shampoo and conditioners. But yes, I mean it's probably not as thick, but it's still thick. I don't have any extensions or anything in it. But anyway, here we go. She looks great. Okay. Billie Eilish, not so great.
Whoa.
She wore like she wore like her grandpa's blazer and then like her brother's schoolboy pants. It was awful. This side tit made listen, it's 2023 was the year of under tit. Side tit was popular in 2021. It is making a comeback. Everyone's done with the under tit. They're going back to the side tit.
I
So
feel like the
bring it
under
back.
tit will
See?
never come
Here's
back.
another side tit.
Yeah, the under tit is just done for good, I think.
I think it was overdone.
Yeah.
I think it was overdone where everyone's bottom tit was hanging out.
But side boob and top boob and front boob, they're timeless, really.
They're really timeless.
Yeah.
Joe Coy was the host of the show. And listen, I think it is such a hard job. I've always said it. He did fine. I think the only problem was he does stadiums, sold out stadiums around the world where everything he says is crying, laughing. His audience is so loyal. And basically what he was doing when he walked out on that stage was, no offense, Joe Coy, but I think a solid half of the people might really not know who you are or your comedy. Maybe know who he is, but doesn't know his comedy. And so it's almost like he would get laughs for everything, but it was just like if I was to just go on the Comedy Store stage right tonight, and maybe a portion of the people might be like, oh, I know her, and they're excited, but other people are like, make me laugh, fucker, And so some jokes were good, a couple, weren't doing great, and then he went and was like, hey, I only got this job 10 days ago, and the ones that you're laughing at, I wrote. The other ones, I had writers. Which I just think throwing the writers under the bus wasn't cool. Kind of like I could tell he was like not enjoying it because this was probably the most unenjoyable moment he's had doing stand-up for the last 20 years because he's been so successful doing his own shows.
Yeah, that's the kiss of death right there. That if you have to know that if you are doing sold out shows and you think you're the shit, you're going to walk into the Golden Globes and you're not going to do good because your ego is already so out of control. You have no humility. You have no vulnerability. You walk in you think you have the biggest dick in the planet, but you don't because Taylor Swift does.
Yeah.
So now you're
I love Taylor Swift's dick.
Well, listen, when I get asked to do it, I've already decided what I'm going to do.
Good.
I'm going to wear J-Lo's dress.
Yes.
But in like a turquoise, okay? With white, chunky diamonds, okay? And I'm actually not going to try to be funny. I'm going to be like, I don't want anybody to chuckle once.
Just
Not
nice.
even a
I don't
chuckle.
even want you to chuckle
Yeah.
once. I'm just going to talk about what I thought about the movies. And if you don't laugh, I don't really care. I liked this one. This one I thought was weird. Oh, hi, Robert De Niro, da-da-da-da. And then I'm just like, hey, granted, no one's going to hire me. But like, honestly, I kind of think that's the way to go. Like, just to be like, I'm not even going to try to be funny because it never works. It's too hard. And
It only
It's way
worked with
too-
Ricky Gervais.
Ricky Gervais
Yes.
is the
Yeah.
only one who
and he
can
won
do
the
it.
stand-up. They had the first category
He should
ever
have,
for
good.
best stand-up album, and Jim Gaffigan came out, and he was funny in presenting it. He was like, it's like the pretty people finally decided to they've had this great party for 100 years. They finally decided to invite the talented people. So it was like Wanda Sykes, Sarah Silverman, Ricky Gervais, Chris Rock. I can't think who else, but anyway, Ricky Gervais won, and he wasn't there.
Of course, because he could give a flying F.
And he
okay?
always said that hosting this ruined his Christmas.
Yeah.
Because it would stress him out. Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
It just has got to be as a stand-up, just the
But he was so great because he's like, I don't care. And it was like, y'all pedophiles. You don't care.
He's
I don't
absolutely
care.
amazing. That's what you have to do.
But Jim
He's
Gaffigan
amazing.
did do a fun pedophile joke.
Okay, good.
Love him.
And
love
so
Jim
he's
Gaffigan.
getting edgy.
Good.
And
We watched Ricky Gervais's newest stand-up.
and was it great?
He's honestly, I
So
told
then
Brandy
he
while
should
we're
won.
watching it.
He should have won. Okay,
He
I'm gonna watch
100%
it.
should have won. And I said, while we were sitting there watching it, I was like, I'm never doing stand-up again. He's beyond. He's reached a whole other.
Well, then
level.
I'm glad he won, and I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
This is the guy from Saltburn, and when I did a review on this the other day, I said, why is no one talking about how this guy was playing a 20-year-old in the movie, and he looks 45.
That was
And
the
in
first
this
thing I said.
particular photo, he looks really old. He looks so old.
I mean,
And he's supposed to be a college kid, and
I mean, no judgment.
It was
I mean,
he was such a good actor. I'm sure
Yeah.
the director, Emerald Fennell, could not pass him up because he was the most
Yeah.
talented. But the first frame of him on screen, I was like, whoa, who's grandpa's in college still?
yeah, it was just so he. But anyway, the one story about Joe Coy was just that he made one little joke about Taylor, which at the time I was watching it, and I don't even think she was in the room yet. So I don't know if she arrived late or what. But then they tried to say that she was upset by his joke, which he was basically like, you know, if you're at a football game, or we're not going to keep referencing Taylor Swift like they do at a football game or something. It was fine. She doesn't care. I just don't think there was that much juice from the show, so they're just like talking about that.
Yeah.
The other, Will Ferrell and Kristen Wiig had a funny moment. That was the funniest presenting of it. There was no real cringe or anything. It was pretty lighthearted. Ali Wong won for Beef, which was great. And her speech was short and perfect and classic.
Are they in a relationship?
Yes, she is dating. What's his name again?
Bill Hader.
They've been dating.
I didn't know that.
Like, she's divorced or filed for divorce. They've been separated, though, for 2 years. She has 2 kids. And she got up there and thanked the writers and thanked, you know, the great friendship that came out of doing the show Beef. And then she said, and I want to thank the father of my children, my best friend, Justin, for you. Why are you laughing? Oh, because of the name. Okay. Sorry. There's other good Justins in the world. And she said, because of you, you've allowed me to be a working mom, and I so appreciate it. And I just thought, of anyone getting divorced or whatever, it was just so good and classy.
Yeah.
And I'm like very excited for the future of her. And she came on Juicy Scoop years ago, and she was so sweet. And she was like, but how do you do it? I think she only had 1 child then. And she was like, how do you do it? And she was, being so nice to me about the fact that I am a comedian who's a mom as well. And so anyway, I just think she really has a great appreciation of that you can't do this alone. And whether you stay with your spouse or not, she was very respectful. And I just thought that was really cool while she's with, her new guy, which I think they make a great couple. Speaking of new couples, you guys, a lot of people didn't know if this was real or not. I still don't. But Kylie Jenner went with Timothée Chalamet to the awards ceremony where he was nominated but did not win.
When you host this
Yes.
and you're in the J-Lo turquoise,
Yes.
I will be in Timothée Chalamet's look.
Which
In the
classic.
audience.
It's
Yes.
a black sequins
Julie will too.
collared shirt with what kind of slack would you do?
What I would do, I mean, isn't that a blazer, right? Or is
A
that
blazer or a shirt? I don't
Yeah,
know.
I would do
a velvet. I'd do a velvet wide leg.
Yeah,
Black
which
velvet
is what
wide
Julie
leg.
will do too. We'll do dress like twins.
Okay.
We'll sit in the middle, and you'll be up there in the turquoise. Then when we take the photos, you're turquoise in the middle, we're black on the sides.
And then if I do a joke about Robert De Niro and that, he should have pulled out with his 8th kid for when he was 80, then when it gets a groaner, I'll say, those 2 black sequins losers wrote
That's
it.
right.
Not me. I originally said I was going to be not funny hosting this thing.
Now, I am noticing that she doesn't have. Does she not have any lashes on? I'm kind of
Okay,
gagging.
you guys, there's a thing that's happening in 2024. I don't know if you've heard, Julie. You're right on trend.
I am.
It is less
into it.
makeup.
Oh.
It's less makeup.
Get
It's
into
less
it.
lash. It's like not the lashes, which I don't know if I'm willing to do. Like just a more. I mean, she's really pretty. She doesn't need it, but she clearly didn't wear lashes to the Golden Globes, and I think that is a bold move. And she's a trendsetter, so we'll see what happens.
I won't. I want to say, I
But
won't.
do what's right for you, boo.
Yeah, you have to. And
Yeah.
for me, it's tons and tons and pounds of makeup and huge lashes. And I will say that it is a little, with all due to Kylie Jenner, because we love Kylie Jenner, we really do. I'll watch her YouTube videos just because her voice is so soothing.
Yeah.
Especially when she's with like Stormy.
Stormy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so soothing. But I think it's a little strange for people with full face of filler to talk about wearing less makeup.
I agree.
Thank you.
All right, now that was our conclusion of the awards ceremony. Support for today's Juicy Scoop episode comes from OneSkin. Now that the holiday buzz is behind us, it's a great time to focus on self-care. And that means taking care of your skin's appearance and its health too. OneSkin makes it easy with their science-backed approach to healthier skin. See, what makes their products so great is they are powered by a scientifically proven peptide called OS-1 that targets the fine lines and wrinkles right where they start, your cells. This isn't just another skincare routine. It's a real science breakthrough. In fact, OS-1 is the first of its kind to actually turn back the clock instead of just masking the signs of aging. With their full line of face, eye, body, sun, and travel size products, OneSkin doesn't only promise healthier skin, they prove it, and I'm all in because I've been using it, you guys, for over 2 months now, and I have noticed a huge difference. My skin feels softer. I love their body cream and the face cream that I use every day, the cleanser. It is absolutely amazing. For a limited time, our Juicy Scoopers will get an exclusive 15% off OneSkin products using the code JUICY when you check out at oneskin.co. Start 2024 off right and give your skin the scientifically proven love it deserves with OneSkin. Treating the symptoms rather than the root causes of aging has long been the norm. Most skincare available on the market is designed to provide a temporary reduction in visible signs of aging, addressing just the surface symptoms of an underlying decline in skin health. OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company. By focusing on the cellular aspects of aging, OneSkin keeps your skin looking and acting younger for longer. Get started today with 15% off using code JUICY at oneskin.co. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code JUICY. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support Juicy Scoop and tell them we sent you. New year, healthier skin. That's OneSkin. Now let's talk a little bit. I want to get your opinion of everything that's going on in the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Tonight, we will see the first episode of the reunion, the 3-part reunion, just to get people up to speed. On the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, a troll has crawled out from underneath the bridge and gotten on the show as a housewife. And Bravo troll fans everywhere rejoiced and came out of their basements and cheered and said, "One of us have made it. One of us."
They've all got applications in.
Yes. And, but we talked about how, yes, there's one thing to be a fan of the show. And, it's 2023, 24. A lot of people now that are being cast are going to be fans. And even back 15 years ago, like Real Housewives of OC, when people were applying for second and third seasons, they were watching the shows religiously. That doesn't make them necessarily a troll. Which made this girl a troll is that she hid behind an anonymous account, which she claims 2 other people were involved in. The fashion designer of Jen Shah and Tanisha, which is a hairdresser that also did Heather Gay and other cast members' hair. The 3 of them had access to it to post or whatever, and they did it all. And And it gets revealed on the last day of the trip that she is this person that not only covered what all the awful evilness that Jen Shah has done, who is doing 7 years in prison, hanging out with one drop. Actually, Jennifer and I are going to go do some yoga and talk about the fact that this woman that used to work for her, Monica, is actually now on the show. Now, I guess her voice is normal now, Elizabeth Holmes. But anyway, getting back to this. So now she is out. She's relishing in it. She is loving her status. But then over the weekend, she was like, wow, I guess this is my karma, because Tanisha, the hairdresser, they communicated doing voice notes. So instead of a voicemail, instead of talking on a phone, you would do a little audio note. And apparently this Tanisha, who she believed was her best friend for 3 years, had her over around her daughters, Monica did. She had put them all in a file and is slowly releasing them out herself or to other, bloggers or whatever. And it's her talking shit about all the people wanting to go by Jen's house when she's moving, wanting to talk about how she's not going to do certain things. One of I heard, which was part of it, when she was like, I'm not fucking doing that. I'm going to be a star. I'm going to be a star. And if it's going to keep me from being on the Bravo show. And I was just wondering if it's because I was DMing with the reality Von Teese, and this person asked me, what did I get paid when I did a Housewife and the Hustler, which was the Hulu doc about Erica Jane. And I said, I didn't get paid anything. And she's like, oh, so you don't think that I'd get paid? I go, I kind of understanding that you don't get paid, but I'm sure they'll pay for your hotel and fly you out if you're coming from whatever. And I go, the only people I know that wanted to get paid were former housewives. And if they couldn't get paid their amount, they weren't going to do it for $5,000 or whatever, and then never be asked back on a Bravo show. I know for a fact 2 Real Housewives, one of which now is back on the show. You can imagine who it is. And then, but she was asking for a lot more money because she was like, I'm not going to do this and then not get, and then screw myself for the future. Yeah. So I kind of basically gave her that information, which was the right information to give. So anyway, I'm kind of wondering if that was why she didn't do that show, the Jen Shah Hulu one. So when you were communicating, let me get your opinion.
But when you were talking to Reality Von Teese,
yes,
which one do you think you were talking to? Tanisha?
I thought I was talking to the fashion designer.
Okay.
I never thought I was talking to a girl that then went on to be a housewife. I thought watching it, I thought she and her mom were acting. I thought they were in cahoots together. I thought anybody that sleeps with your husband's sister's husband, your brother-in-law through marriage for 18 months, though I appreciate the honesty, that takes a pretty diabolical person and then willing to share it, which she can, it's her story, but you're also now destroying this other family who you had the affair with. But I was like, okay, so she is desperate to be on a show and have money. But no, I never thought it. And then I heard it about 2 weeks before and I was like, oh, it's probably true.
Do you think they all just had access to the account like on their phone? Like they could switch between their personal account and Reality Von Teese?
I think the Tanisha hairdresser is saying it's all Monica. Monica's saying it was me with the fashion designer that Jen Shah screwed over, who is a guy, and Tanisha. She said it was like the 3 of us. That's what I'm gathering from all the information over the weekend, is that she's saying it was the 3 of us, and now she's saying, like, well, you'll probably hear everything I've ever said. And then one thing Monica said, which I was like, she's like, now imagine if every conversation you had with your best friend in the last 3 years had possibly been recorded and now shared with the world, how terrible that would be.
We'd have to go into witness protection.
Well, I mean, it would be really, really bad.
Yeah,
I mean, it would be like
horrific.
Except for
it's
one
horrific.
thing. Nobody recorded her because that, at least in California, that would be illegal. She recorded herself because she was too lazy to either pick up the phone or text it on out.
Well, and then some people do get very comfortable doing the audio.
People love
the audio text messages. So luckily, I have never done that because I don't know how to do it. So thank God for that. But also I thought, what about AI? Like, if in the next couple of years, if someone wants to fuck me over again like they did in 2023, they could have AI do my voice, because they do it, you know, for other people, and then have me say like some horrific, you know, career debilitating cancel type of stuff. I'm probably giving some trolls an idea right now.
They do all
but like
deepfakes.
unless
they can
you
put
see
you in a
me,
porn.
unless you see me walking and saying it, and then there's proof that I was actually walking and saying it in front of Ralph's in Tarzana on this day, then I will deny that is ever me. But I am someone that is into talking on the phone, so, and not leaving voice notes. But
we have friends that like will only, like, you text something and they only reply with a voice message.
Yeah.
Like, it comes back.
Right.
And then we're so lazy that we don't even then want to listen to it. Like, I have voicemails that I haven't even listened to.
Voice messages.
Voice messages.
Which
like
come in like a text.
No, but I mean, I
But
have
I know what you mean.
voicemails.
Oh, I do too.
Voicemail, no one will ever listen to it, because it requires a person to go to a different part of their phone to listen.
Raised to listen.
But even on the
Raised to
text,
listen.
we're just like, how long is this? A minute?
If
Like,
I see that it's more than 27 seconds, I know that I'm out half.
What about when you have your audio, whatever text thing on, and you're chatting, and then you look down and you see it, and you're like, if I would have pressed send, I would be at the Real Housewives of Salt Lake reunion, and Heather Gay would be playing it, and my goodness. So
that has happened to me.
That's happened to me too.
Yeah.
Even just flushing the toilet.
I mean, we're the queens of fucking butt dials, talking shit, sending the email where we hate someone. We've had this conversation with you before, where Julie's like, "Can you believe this douche?" And she sent it to the guy. I'm like, who wanted us to read his script. She's like, "Oh, can you believe this douche?" And emailed it to him. I mean, I've had,
but I've received them too.
Talking shit about you.
Talking shit. I received an email for a job I was supposed to have, and the email came to me, and I thought I had no idea there was an issue until the email came in and it said, "This fucking lesbian and her drama. I'm so sick of these lesbians," or whatever. And I was like, I don't even have any drama.
Just
what
needs.
the hell? And then
Just
had to like call this person and be like, "What's the problem?" And then it turns into a whole thing. But like, God, now you don't want to be seeing that
I
shit.
found an email thread years ago about stand-up or something, and it was from my agent that I think also had Josh Wolf, or it was a producer. So anyway, Josh was the comedian, and someone was asking about me for a job, and then the thread continued without taking me off of it or something.
Nope.
And it was like,
nope.
Well, let me tell you, Josh Wolf is a beast on the stage, and he is who you should hire about it. And that's happened also with Heather Dubrow. There was a thing with Heather Dubrow that like my agent at the time represented us both, and it was like, who you really want. And then you're and I was like, well, if Heather Dubrow passes, like I still was so desperate. I wasn't even mad that the agent didn't care about me. I was like, hey, don't even feel bad. But if Heather Dubrow passes, will you tell that I'm interested in hosting this stupid game show or whatever it was? Like, I would be down to do it. Would you please?
My commercial agent, Anastasia Beverly Hills, is best friends with him, and said,
I need eyebrow lady.
Yeah, the eyebrow lady. And it was like, which one of your, clients in like their young 20s has fucked up eyebrows? And he sent a list, and then he emailed it to everyone on the list. So I'm like laying in my hammock in my backyard, minding my own business, and then I'm like, oh, I guess I have fucked up eyebrows. But still, I was like, when's the audition?
Yeah.
Let me go out and meet Anastasia. Like, it was so beyond the level.
Amazing. Okay, so what else do we think? What do we think is going to go on with this before we close this out?
I just want to say,
yes,
I was so not only enthralled and delighted and in heaven by this episode and the troll under the bridge who came out and made everyone pay a toll to go under the bridge. Okay. And everyone paid the toll, didn't realize they paid the toll, and then their whole heads exploded.
Don't
However,
forget the queen standing on the beach, which was Heather Gay.
Yes.
Okay, in the gown. In the windy beach
of
Barbados or whatever.
It was like Lord of the Rings. She was the queen elf who was ominous, yet you didn't know what was happening. And we were like, what the hell's going on? And she's so upset. I was like, I thought somebody had died. I thought all of her family was dead from a drowning because it's the only reason this person should be this upset.
Yeah.
But no. We gather around.
She calls everyone down to the beach.
They gather around for the Fellowship of the Ring, and they gather around, and of course, and then it's just like we learn about the troll. And
the trolls are out there. It's very easy to be anonymous, and it's easy to go anonymous on Facebook groups or whatever and talk shit, and then go have lunch with that person. And I'm usually that person. And I now know about it all, and it is really devastating, and it's really creepy because it's literally like, is this the way they felt in World War II when people were like?
Double agents?
Yeah, double agents and double spies. Like, what the hell? Like, this is just so crazy and bizarre, or the way that Ariana must have felt with Raquel and Tom and like all that kind of stuff. It's the deception and where someone's smiling and acting sweet to your face and touching their hair and all of it.
It was completely I'm not saying that they shouldn't have been upset and devastated and all that, but it was also an opportunity for all of the other players to truly show their flair for the dramatique.
Yeah.
I mean, like, okay, yes, all of that stuff, and it's creepy, and it's like, bitch, are you serious? Instead of, I would have, for me, if it were me, and it was the troll, I'd be like, are you fucking kidding me? What the fuck? But instead it was like, like, the whole bitch.
But I actually think that Tanisha is way more dangerous than Monica. I really do.
Yeah, well, she's in there as people's hairdressers.
I would never
God.
hire Tanisha as
How
a
could she ever get a
hairdresser
job
ever again. Tanisha should change her name to something else. Ask Monica, because Monica had 3 different names. She had 3 different names that she used at Beauty Lab. And at one point, the mom goes, someone said, if you watch back, the mom goes, is it Monica Fuller? I don't know. You always use so many different names.
I think
Says it on
Monica's
the-
worse than Tanisha, because what I think is that Monica and Tanisha and the fashion designer, and I think that guy is really talented. That guy that he did a ton of like one of a kind looks for Jen Shah, and that's the video of her like screaming at him.
Right.
And I mean, I do scream at Julie like that, so I wasn't really that mad. But
I know. I was like, what's up?
okay, but
this is nothing.
like full on abusive.
This is like literally nothing.
But the thing is that Tanisha does their hair, and they were all being, probably including Monica, like verbally abused by Jen Shah. Like their time was being abused. They were being yelled at. You know, Jen Shah was very unstable. She was going through a lot.
So Tanisha worked for Jen Shah as well, is
Yes.
your understanding.
So-
Okay.
So that's the reason they all got together and were
Which,
like,
there's
we're
nothing
take-
like 3 disgruntled coworkers.
That's right.
Taking a walk around the studio with a cup of coffee. Been there.
Yep. And just like, how are we taking this bitch down?
Yeah, like,
You know?
let's start a fake account and fuck her life.
Yeah.
But then Tanisha goes on doing everyone's hair, and I don't know what else, if they all busted it. She told the information about, if Tanisha's the one who told the information about how they're gay and things that were revealed,
Yeah.
then that isn't good. But I feel like Monica is the one who then went on Housewives, couldn't wait to get, and of course she wants to get paid, but she pretended to be their friend. I mean, that is traumatic, like
Some
you
of
said.
the stuff in the reality Von T stuff was like, you know how she paid for that party for Coach Shaw? It's all the auntie's money. The auntie that was almost dying, that Mary said, you smell like hospital. You smell like hospital. And she's like, my aunt was in the hospital. That was one of the stories that went out there. Who knows if it's true or not? But I think what's creepy about it is that, like, if I'm talking about all this stuff, I might find a housewife that I've had on the show that we were friendly and maybe we even had dinner or whatever. But then 2 years later, I'm covering the show and I'm going to be really honest about what I think, and maybe I make fun of it and I do an impression. And I do that with the risk of saying, now this person might not like me as much, but I'm going to be authentic to Heather McDonald and Juicy Scoop. This is what I covered. This is what I do. Now, if I continue to have a show where I just was like, so, positive and everything about everybody. And then I was like, okay, so you guys, this is not from me. This is from the Scarlet Catholic. And this is like a Dumois. This is from the Scarlet Catholic. And she said that so-and-so from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is actually in horrific credit card debt and blah, blah, blah. Not me. When the whole time
Right.
I'm putting it out there, Like, that's where I'm like, that's fucked and that's gross
That
and
is
that's not fair and that's
No.
like not right, because then I could go to that same person and be like, who the fuck is Scarlet Catholic Scarlet? Who is that? What a bitch. We need to find out who that cunt is. And then they'd be like, I know. And then I'd be like, anyway, want to come on Juicy Scoop? Act really nice.
Right.
And then the next day, oh my God, are you guys gaining followers? And I think that could be I would not be surprised if in the next couple of years there's some popular people who are a face of one thing.
Yeah.
And we
infiltrate.
find out that they are in fact behind other things. And I will tell you, I don't know how to create another account. I don't even know how to get or change my own account. I haven't been on Twitter/X since I got a new iPhone.
It never
I
pans
wanted
out.
to tweet so bad yesterday, and I go, I don't know how to do it, and I just don't feel like figuring it out. So trust me when I say this is all I know how to do.
Yeah, I mean, for people who have other accounts, Julie and I do not. It's, first of all, it's way too exhausting. I know that. We tried to do it when we did Tone It Up. They were like, #TIU. It's an exercise thing.
Okay.
So we started like another Instagram account for Tone It Up. And I was like, I can't. Like, I don't even know. Now I'm switching back and forth. And so, but for people who do it, celebrities, inevitably they always get caught. They're in the wrong account. Like when Melissa Gorga went on Joe Gorga's and like responded as Joe Gorga or whatever it was. And then there's a famous basketball player, Kevin Durant. He did it. Everyone on Twitter was like, wow, you did that from the wrong account, buddy. And he's like,
Sometimes I think, I mean, sure, there's celebrities, but I think there's probably so many in this Bravo world where they, started their own little account. Maybe they have a podcast. Maybe they have a decent following on TikTok. And they might be having these other like trolley type accounts too. And hey, it's fine, whatever. But I'm like, yeah, I'm who I am. What I say is what I say. And people cannot like it. But I do think it's kind of a way to hide behind stuff. And then you can go to these parties or go on these red carpets.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm at these parties and I'm like, oh, fuck, I just did that girl's Wayward Eye or whatever, on the show. And now she's here. Like, she's not going to be, let me go avoid her or not.
it also,
everyone's
But that's
gonna
a
be
risk I have to
paranoid now.
take. If I choose I'm going to do it for comedy, then I risk someone being mad
And
at
that's
me.
correct. And that takes balls and some courage and some integrity. And ultimately, at the end of the day, if you are anonymous, and I mean, with all due, if you're anonymous online and you're being a double agent or even just being anonymous, you have no integrity and you don't have any courage to stand by what you're doing.
are there
We all
anonymous?
have to-
Are there anonymous podcasts or just accounts like on Instagram?
I think, Dumois is anonymous on her podcast.
she's
I don't know if she
podcast.
changes her, she doesn't show her face, and I don't know if she does a voice activation or whatever. That's different. But yeah, I'm sure, as any account gets more popular, they add a podcast or a YouTube component to it. And if it means they wear a wig or I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, they can do whatever they want.
That's what you're going to do.
But I do feel
That's
like
what you'll do. I think that what you need to do, or what we'll do for the next podcast, I'll put on Guy Fawkes masks or pick a mask, any man, whoever you want to be. You know what I mean? And we'll just make a voice.
Yeah, this is White Chicks. This
like,
is seriously White
yeah,
Chicks.
that-
I am actually Marlon
Right.
Wayans, you
And you'll
guys,
do
this
all of
entire
that.
time.
Can you
and I'm going to
believe?
pull out my mask.
Yep.
And
That'll
okay.
be how it is. I mean,
I think being anonymous also, in addition to all of that, what bothers me about it is that it really does allow for like, they don't necessarily have to fact check and they can come really hard with just rumors, shit that isn't true, and then it spreads like wildfire. And they do always do it. These anonymous accounts will be like, blah, blah, blah's not being asked back. And it's like, they don't know what they're talking about. And then it goes and spreads and it's not even true.
And or someone puts it out there and sends it to the anonymous account so that they do get talked about and they get fans being like, if so-and-so doesn't come back to the Housewives, then I'm not watching, just to get some people talking. I mean, there's all these tactics that people can do. And as viewers and as people that consume it, you can play into it as much as you want. I mean, when I was the subject of one of the Dumois type of things, I wrote, and I was like, this isn't it. This isn't true. I wasn't drunk at this party. I wasn't accosting someone. And, then she shared that. But still, anyone can say anything. And if it gets picked up, it gets picked up. I mean, it can be that I saw Heather making out with Morgan Wade in
Oh
La Quinta
my God.
That's
at
hot.
the Nest.
How was it?
And it was great. And I don't have a photo. Like, it could be like, I don't have a photo, but she was there. And then Kyle came out of the bathroom, and the three of them went home together. And what you'd find out later is I'm the one that wrote that in. Like, you know what it's
Right.
like? Who
Exactly.
knows?
Exactly.
You
Who
gotta be able to
knows?
stand by your shit. You just
Yeah.
have to. I'm sorry. And like you just have to put your. You can't. That's
I do
just
think
cowardly.
this
I
is
just don't-
Bravo's going to be Bravo's new. You know, we've done
Yes.
the
Here it is.
affairs, we've done the reveals, we've
Yep.
done. I don't want to talk about this at my charity event.
Yes.
all of the above. We've done the dinners. Let's play the game. Who do we hate at the table?
Yes.
Whose dicks do we? Whatever. Who's had sex last
Yes.
night? All that stuff. The new thing is going to be on every cast. Let's cast the troll,
troll.
with the account. Who's the fan?
Yeah.
It's truly, remember that show, The Mole?
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
truly the mole.
Yeah.
like,
It's
who's
truly
the
the
mole?
mole.
And thank
what?
God for it, because
And
honestly,
it's Magic Revealed. Remember the show Magic Revealed?
Yes.
Truly
I
is
love
obsessed.
Magic
Obsessed.
Reveal.
Magic Reveal.
With that guy with the Squid Game mask.
And everybody was like, we need to find this magician and kill him. He's somewhere
found him.
working in Las Vegas. But he did a show, and he would show. So they'd show the girl being split in half and the two
Yes.
boxes end.
Yep.
And then it'd be like, and now we're going to show you how it's done. And so it's like, I do feel like it's like that now.
But did you
But
guys know
people
that
still go see Magic.
they
So it
found-
didn't ruin
Of course not.
Magic completely.
and they found out who it was?
Yeah.
And it was Monica.
Being a king or queen might seem super juicy and enticing, but more often than not, it comes at the expense of everything else, like your freedom, your privacy, and sometimes even your head. The creators of Wondery's Even the Rich are bringing you a brand new podcast called Even the Royals, where hosts Brooke and Arisha pull back the curtain on royal families, past and present, from all over the world to show you the darker side of what it means to be royalty. From stories about one of the most infamous royals in history, Marie Antoinette, but everything you know about her is wrong. After she became queen at just 19 years old, she ended up in a battle with the French press that started a series of impossible-to-believe events. It's history's greatest smear campaign, and it had deadly consequences. Or what might be the worst royal marriage of all time between King George IV and Caroline of Brunswick. It's a story involving catfishing, yes, fake pregnancies, you know I love that, and it all leads to a divorce trial where the whole world sat on the edge of their seats to see how it would all play out. Follow Even the Royals on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge Even the Royals ad-free right now on Wondery Plus. By the way, I went to Copley's. I went to the world famous Copley's in Palm Springs to celebrate Shannon and my nephew's birthday. And so we sat at a table, and it was really nice. And so then I was doing Instagram stories, and I was like, so now let's play a game. And I'm like, it's 1927 in Palm Springs, and there's no air conditioning, but there's one room that's cool. It's August at 2 p.m. Who from this table are you going to leave out in the 1927 120 non-air conditioned sun? And we went around that. Then we also did who do you want to take on an island to survive? Which, you know, I had to choose Drake over Brandon. I'm sorry. He just knows how to do more shit. He's 3 years older, whatever. And then Drake goes, I don't want to go with anybody because I'm just going to have to do everything. So I would rather just not go on the island at all. Like, it was so funny. But anyway, but yeah, there are people, you know, even Spencer Pratt said, I knew they were filming The Hills when I went to that nightclub.
Right.
And then he did meet or shortly after met Heidi, and they fell in love, and they have one of the longest marriages in television.
honestly.
But he did go knowing he was already a producer from doing Princess of Malibu, and that's why he's so authentic and honest about it now, talking about it, and why it's so refreshing. And then there's people we know that you know, was a fan of a show and went after the person and was like, I'd like to be a client. You could overcharge me to do my house in La Jolla. It doesn't
Right.
matter because then I'll be your friend. And I'm just so
There's
obsessed.
no
And then you wonder, like, that is a grifter thing to do. That is
Right.
kind of a grifter thing to do.
I mean, there's also no crime in star fucking,
Yeah.
AKA. I mean,
Right.
you know what I mean? People stalk whoever. I'm going to get with whoever. I'm going to go to the fucking coffee shop. I'm going to find him. I'm going to get with them. I'm going to go to the party. I'm going to go to the thing. People do it all the time.
I mean,
and
yeah,
so
but
fine. So live
People
your
saying,
life.
like, I've been a fan of yours since Chelsea Lit. I'd love to
Great.
be your assistant.
But
that
when you're
happened too, you know,
Yeah.
like and
all of that stuff, but
Yeah.
anonymous, where you're being a double agent. Now, why don't they do a new reality show?
yeah.
Where it's called Under the Bridge of the Trolls.
Heather, do the voice.
And let's say you,
I like it.
or Monica can host it, and it's saying welcome, and you can do like you're in the bridge.
My troll voice. Come into the line. All trolls are welcome.
Exactly.
I'm so happy for Salt Lake City, though. They were really bottoming the barreling it last
it
season.
really
Meredith
refreshed
was shitting the bed, not bringing anything to the table.
No.
And now this season,
Only Ramona shits the bread, and Vicky
and the
sleeps
stairs.
and
Yeah.
Vicky pees on it.
Right.
Yeah.
this season was riveting. I can't wait for the damn reunion.
I mean,
It's going to be so fun. Okay, let's get into Ariana has now sued from Vanderpump Rules, sued Tom to say we must sell the house. I'm done with this. Some people are like, she's made enough money. Why doesn't she buy him out? Well, obviously there's something going on where whatever, this is what she would rather do. She'd rather them both sell it. She wants it sold. Either she doesn't want it, so she doesn't want to buy him out, and she doesn't want him to buy her out. I don't know, but
I don't think he can afford to buy her out because
she wants it
he's
sold, and
leveraged
she has
because of the
every right
restaurant.
to have
Yeah.
it. So that's going on right now, trying to get it sold so that she can move on with her life. And you know,
He can't afford to buy her out, and she wants nothing to do with the house where he made love to his concubine.
Speaking of which, so Raquel's podcast came out.
Oh.
And I listened to it. So let me tell you.
I first want to know, how is
Yeah.
Raquel's voice and vibe
not bad.
as a host?
Not bad.
Okay.
She has a girl asking her questions who's a producer who is recording from a tunnel. Okay, I don't know why the biggest
she's being
podcast of all
interviewed-
time.
she's being interviewed on her
by a
own.
producer, just kind of helping her guide.
Okay.
But here's the things that were interesting that you might want to know. Okay, so she said she and Tom became friends, and he'd come over to and they'd hang out on her balcony and they'd shit talk about filming. They would they were
Okay.
two disgruntled employees talking shit, which always bonds you
You
together.
mean like Lisa Rinna and Kathy Hilton, and we know where that ended up.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, they were just talking shit in a van, in a shuttle van.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those assholes didn't play Pretty Young Thing by Michael Jackson. We're leaving, Kyle. and then Lisa Rinna's like, you know what? They should have played that song for you, Kathy. What else bothers you? As they're going home in the Sprinter van.
I think
And
it's
she pressed
production's
record.
fault. I blame NBCU that they didn't play the song.
I don't know why. Why do you think that DJ had it out for you? Do you think maybe Kyle said something rude? Why didn't Kyle tell you about her series, American Woman, that was based on your mother earlier? Did it bother you that Mauricio took all of your high-end clients from your husband and started his own? And then, why are you smashing your readers outside of my room?
Why are you destroying the Airbnb, Kathy?
Okay, so she said, so she's drinking a lot on the show after her breakup with James, and then she said Tom would drop anything to come see her. Now I don't know if that was before the affair or after. So then she does talk about how she met James when she was 21, and then when she aged out of the pageantry, being in pageants, and then couldn't. Was no longer with James. She entered her selfish era, which is also not an album by Taylor Swift because she's a delight and she's not selfish, but she had a selfish era moment. And she said also it was hard because she was growing up. She changed her name at 7 from Rachel to Raquel.
I
I don't want to be Rachel. I want to be Raquel.
Because she said she was always the tallest in the classroom and that was hard.
Yeah.
And there was
So-
she said there was a bunch of Rachels, right, in her class.
That's not what she said on this.
Oh,
She
well,
just
the
said
stories change
She
with
said
Raquel
being
Rachel.
the tallest, that was hard. And then the person was like, "Yeah, that would be hard." So
You know what? I feel
as
awkward.
a tall,
I'm going to go by Raquel and alienate myself even
Mirror.
further from all the preschool kids.
Mirror, mirror. What does a tall Rachel turn her name into? Tell me.
well, it's Raquel. Anyway, to
That's
the
the name of
tall-
her podcast.
To the
It
talls
should be
around
Well,
the
It's
world,
Raquel.
to the talls around the world, you can now say that you were marginalized. So
And Heather, why didn't you
okay.
change your name to Heather? It's because you were tall.
But I wasn't that.
Yeah.
I was like a late bloomer, and I kind of wasn't that tall until I like got my period, which I was very old getting my period, which also should be marginalized.
Well, for those of you who don't, so the people who don't know, that's
I
what
got
happens
my
with
license.
periods.
But I was driving before I got my period. That's how late I was.
You was driving
Wow,
before you
you-
got your period?
That is, oh my God.
What?
You
Wait,
are a
speaking of which, did you
marginalized
just
community.
say-
Did you see
You
the girl?
drive-
Did you see the girl screaming at the airport about her period?
No.
There was a freak out girl at the airport, and this
Karen?
guy's like, "Could you please like settle down?" She's like screaming. Of course, she called the poor lady behind the ticket a dumb bitch and everything. And she's like, "I'm wearing a diaper," and then finally,
What?
Yeah, and then finally the guy goes, "God, could you?" And she goes, "I have my fucking period. Do you even know what that is?" Again, if you get a period, you're a marginalized person. So just you could be a
Little
period.
did we know you were driving around Encino
10.
with 0 tampons and pads in sight, Heather.
That's right. I was driving around, not
just-
a period. And then I got my period, and then I
shot
got
up.
tall, and then I still
Slut
didn't have
era.
I still didn't
It's
have
like a
sex till I
rocket.
was 27.
like a rocket, that period. Just,
Okay, so then she talks about Graham.
Okay.
Graham
that's
is the
the dog.
dog.
Now, this is going to trigger Julie. You know,
I don't know if it's going to trigger you. Okay.
she
'Cause
gets
you
upset about Graham.
don't?
Okay, it's a pretty juicy story about
Okay.
a dog.
All right.
Okay?
Okay.
I'm just going to tell you what she said. You guys know it was out there.
We know.
They had the dog, and she said the dog was feisty and this and that, and it did nip and bite. It's her account that James would encourage the fighting. You know how sometimes people do that?
Yeah.
They like to take a shoe with the dog.
And always men.
Yeah.
Men do that.
And
it's like, don't play rough.
So he wouldn't even mind when the dog would like kind of grab his hand or whatever. And so she felt that was encouraging his biting behavior. And that oftentimes like the dog would be asleep, and then he would be like, "Get off the couch," and she felt that didn't give the dog enough time to like acclimate, like, you know, wake up, I don't know, and get off the couch. So she was like, you know, that there is some that is the criticism she gave as James as being a dog owner. She goes to the rehab, whatever, the rehabilitation place. The parents are watching the dog. The mom gets severely bit by the dog. And the doctor says, you should put this dog down. She's like, I'm not going to do that. But they try to find some foster care families. Everybody, it's not working out with the dog. They find an actual doodle, whatever brand of dog he is. Not brand, but breed of dog he is. And that guy is trying to train it and this and that. And somehow the dog, I can't remember, goes back to a place and they find the chip. So then they call the Vanderpump dogs and they're like, we have this dog. Lisa Vanderpump, according to Raquel, was like, why didn't she call me right away? But she's like, no, because she wanted a storyline. So according to Raquel, Lisa Vanderpump, he says, well, I'll take the dog back. And that during this time, they keep trying to get Raquel to show up to film in Lake Tahoe to have this moment. And finally, she just says no, or the negotiations stop, and they're like, fine, goodbye, we're done with you. Production's not happy with her. And she doesn't go to Lake Tahoe. She then finds out that in Lake Tahoe, Lisa Vanderpump, allegedly, which we'll see on camera, presents the dog.
Yeah.
Here is the dog, gives it to James, and she's like, I really feel like Lisa Vanderpump wanted me to show up there to have this moment with the dog. And according to her, she says Lisa Vanderpump says that it was at a kill shelter and does this dramatic thing. This is what she believes we'll see on the show. Here is the dog. We got the call from a kill shelter. Here is the dog. So, but the dog appears to be doing fine with James for the last 6 months. And so whatever the dog had issues with biting or whatnot, hopefully the dog grew out of it. Hopefully the dog's not biting anybody else. But that was the dog story.
She should have we know that the dog had that abscess and that injury that James came to visit and was like, what's wrong with Graham? And the dog was fully like underneath the brown hair, had like a big cut like on its neck to the point that was infected. The dog was laying there with like zero energy. And it's like, okay, one, I mean, I know she's a young girl, but like, she wasn't even being responsible for the dog. She's too busy being responsible for Tom's dick. And then, they take
Well, I mean, 27, 28 years old, I do not think should be considered a young girl.
I agree.
There's a lot of women there that, they're 27, 28, that have 2 kids, that are married, that are running a home, that have a business. This isn't
I had
16.
my dog, for 10 years at that point, and he never had an abscess and was in the corner, and I just didn't notice he had no energy. I mean, that was the first red flag where it was like, lady. Then when they break up, it's like, if you don't want to take care of the dog, then give the dog to James, because it was a storyline all last season that James wanted that dog. He was obsessed with the dog. She should have let James have the dog when she went to rehab and not her parents. And then when her parents didn't want the dog, they again should have given it to James. They raised that dog together for years and years. So I thought that was weird. I will say I won't be watching the season because I don't appreciate that Bravo did the thing that Bravo always does, and they lowballed her. They built
Lowballed
Raquel, would not pay Raquel what Tom and Ariana make, and that's not fair, and it really isn't. And now they love to advertise the #1 show on cable television. That's what all the promos say this season. And it's like built on the back of her, on her entire reputation. And she did what she did, and consequences are consequences. But I'm not going to watch a show that wouldn't pay her, who exploited her. I mean, it is true. And her life was destroyed. Her reputation was destroyed. Now she's here doing a podcast with the rest of America.
Which, why not? I mean, why not? Get your story out there. You know, everybody else has one. Tom has one.
Bravo should have paid
every
her.
single cast member has one, I think, except for Ariana. Like, everybody has one, and they can all share their thoughts every moment. And even though, a book could have been really interesting too, she still could do that. So she does tell the juice of getting together with him for the first time. So she said there was a night where she was filming at SUR. So this was before Guys' Night. We always heard, this is how I listened, and hopefully I got it right. We always heard that the first time they got together was Guys' Night, where she showed up after them being mean to her in Las Vegas. And then they went to the bar across the street, which is the Saddle Peak, whatever it is. What is it called?
Saddle Ranch?
Saddle Ranch. And then, and then it was after that something happened. She says, no, I was filming at SUR. He came by, got me my drink that I like with strawberries in it, and was just like nice to me. And then we went to the Abbey, and then I drove him home from the Abbey, and Ariana was asleep in the house, and the door was locked, and so was the back door slider. So he goes, oh, well, we can turn on the fire pit. So they turn on the fire pit by outside, while the whole time Ariana's upstairs sleeping. And then he goes, what's great about this pool is it's heated. So then she takes off her jeans and she goes in with her corset top and her underwear, and he goes in his boxers, and they're swimming around, and he comes and grabs her and kisses her. And then they get out and they go back to the fire, and Brandy, are you wet? And then she's getting a little excited. I don't know. It's weird. Okay, so then
I'm just thinking this is what he said on Howie Mandel.
So he did say this story.
He said he got locked out, but he didn't say she was in a corset and underwear. He didn't go into this detail, but he said he got locked out.
So she's giving her side, which I appreciate. So then he's like, I just want to talk about that. I want to talk more about this. I don't know what is going on here. And so then she goes. Then she says, which I give her the props for saying it. Well, do you want to talk more about this in my car?
Oh, he said they were like up against the wall at the front door.
So then they go in the car, and that's when she said, basically the producer goes, did you go all the, she didn't, did you go all the way or whatever? She said it was bad. So whatever it was, they either had sex or went, 2 inches from it. But like, that's when it was on. And then.
I wonder if she's still in the wet corset. That sounds uncomfortable, right?
I think the corset probably
then that's where we're at, and they're going to milk it out as they should. So then next week is going to be, the next time they hook up, and the next time, which is what I've told them to do. I was like, the thing people want to know is every time you deceived Ariana, every time you lied, every time, and and
Coachella, which I knew they hooked up at Coachella.
Well, now that would not go with the timeline.
I think it does.
No, because the Coachella would have been before that.
Coachella's in the middle of the thing, and then
okay, well, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. Whatever. I mean, listen, whatever happens with this show. I don't know. She's like, I will watch it, but I don't want this to be like a recap show. But of course she's going to respond. They're all going to be responding to every episode that airs as they should.
I wish that she was
people
on
are
the
listening
show.
to their podcast, for what they're going to say about, okay, I got in this fight with, Lala, and this is what I was thinking. Not, hey guys, we have an expert in ab work. I mean, let's just be honest. Like, it's just like, do what works. So that was pretty juicy. Okay, let me see what else I have. Oh, so Joe Rogan talked about me.
Nice.
And I'm going to play it for you.
Okay.
So, thank you, Joe Rogan, for talking about me. When it happened, when I fainted, we were the first people to share it, and it went viral, and many other people have discussed it and talked about it. And I did some initial interviews right after it happened, and now we're coming on almost 2 years, and I definitely have a different opinion that I did. I have a different opinion that I would love to discuss with Joe Rogan, since I think he's the one that has done the most interviews and the most episodes about vaccines and things like this. And I do agree with him that it was incredible timing. And I do feel that I do believe in God, and I do believe that he's always making things work out the way they should for me. So I don't know, maybe this was something for the world to discuss for the right reasons. And
we've seen you on Morning Joe, like in the morning on MSNBC, and they're discussing you, and then we'll text you a photo, and you're like, they didn't even call me.
They never. No one has ever. There are so many very popular YouTube people, very popular. I mean, obviously Joe Rogan's the most popular, but many people very, very popular that have talked about it, and never once has someone DM'd me and been like, "Are you okay? What do you feel?" And I had one guy do a little segment on it, and that was part of the little segment, is that no one's asked me what I think, but also my initial interview were a little bit fear-based in that I didn't want to piss off Pfizer.
That was just such
I did not want to piss off
that
Pfizer.
was such a weird
I was
time.
still like scared, and I was just
Yeah.
like, I was just trying to be the right person, and I wasn't. And then, of course, the super Christians, think that there was something wrong, and that I joked that Jesus must love me since I've yet to get COVID, and I still have yet to get COVID. But so I don't know, but there have been many more information that I'd like to come, and
I think after
I would like to give Joe the exclusive, and I would like to
Yeah.
talk to him about it, and I'm happy to fly out to Austin. And if it's still silent after this, what's weird though is every time it's like all of a sudden I'll go to my Instagram, and there was a photo of us with the kids after a fun dinner. And I looked at the comments of like, oh, I love that restaurant. You guys the boys look alike, whatever, they're cousins. And then there was about 20 comments that were really nasty. Like, are you going to get another shot? How's your head? And I was like, I don't understand why people hear someone like Joe discuss it or see me falling again, and it like triggers them to write me and be angry. Because what did I do? I did nothing wrong.
You did nothing wrong.
I did nothing wrong.
You did nothing
I got
wrong.
the shots. I joked that I got all the shots, and yes, Jesus flicked me, or he didn't. I don't know, but I fainted at that moment, and I've been nothing but like open and honest about it. And I'm like, I don't know if like the big pharma thinks that like I was a puppet or something for the anti-vaxxers, and I don't know why the anti-vaxxers think that they call me a libtard, and I'm like, I just don't. It's all I know is that I just done absolutely nothing for my career at all, but actually probably hurt it. It's probably gotten people not to want to hire me, not to want to talk to me because they're afraid I'm not going to say the right thing.
I think after 2 years doing Joe Rogan, giving him the exclusive, I think it's the perfect time. It was not the right time 2 years ago. There was so much, like, it was too hot in the kitchen with the vaccines. No one could say anything.
Too hot in the lab.
I mean, too hot in the
Too
lab.
hot
You know what I
in
mean?
the lab.
And now it's like you've had a ton of time to think about it. We've all, had our weird side effects from the vaccine.
I have nerve damage.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's perfectly fine.
It's completely fine. My hands are fucked up. I can't even hold this for seconds. It's fine.
So,
because of this.
so now we can all just
COVID.
talk about it.
Yeah.
We can all just talk about it honestly, and you're without fear of like
being
also-
canceled
and
or
try to
whatever.
say-
Yeah.
And may I add, even from let's say 2 years ago, people who feel a certain way about the fucking stupid fucking vaccine and COVID and all of it. The whole reason everybody got so upset was because of just their feelings and their opinions and their beliefs.
Right.
They were mad that their beliefs weren't being honored, whether it was you didn't want a vaccine or you did. So now,
Or your neighbor wasn't getting one, and that was making you mad that your neighbor wasn't getting it. Yeah.
For all the controlling people out there.
Yeah.
And so then now you're going to have somebody who's mad because all you said was like, whatever, A, a joke, B, my feelings, this is my opinion, this is what I did for myself. But you're mad, but you, person, are the same mad to be told about your feelings and your freedom.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, the whole thing was about freedom to be or whatever. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, now,
and by the way, you were the least, in my opinion, around that time. You were not virtue signaling.
Nope.
Even you made a joke in your stand-up, which is for jokes. But in real life, we saw you a ton of time in the pandemic and did your show. You never virtue signaled on your show or anywhere else that you had done all the vaccines and all the boosters. You were just quietly doing what you were supposed to do. And it was never a thing of like this, like, I mean, we heard about it from so many friends. People were like throwing shit at people running by, like joggers with no mask. Somebody would like throw something. I'm like, they're outdoors. The level of like anger that was floating around at that time.
Yep.
And then you were even still a year into it when you passed out, right? That was like 2021.
It was February of 2022 that I fainted. February 7th. Yeah.
Think of how far after the pandemic that is, really, you know? I mean, I hope you get to talk to Joe Rogan about it.
I do too. He knows who I am. We've hung out. We used to hang out at the Comedy Store, and I mean, look, we'll see.
I don't want anybody to know, but I do have a fake account. And
Okay.
That has been trolling about the vaccines and COVID and you and going on Joe Rogan.
Okay.
So I hope that
It's what is it? Brittany Vax 6969.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. It's called. Yeah. It's Brittany Vax Scissor 6969.
Also, what's kind of fun is that I'll have people come up to me that I'm social with, whatever, in different circles, not comedy, not entertainment related, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, I saw that you fainted," and then I'm like, "Oh, I think I know what kind of entertainment you listen to." Because I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I know if all of a sudden they just saw it now. They have not been following me on Instagram. They do not listen to Juicy Scoop. They know nothing about me, but they follow someone else that may have reported on it, and they're nice about it. But I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I know exactly how everyone stands. So if you come up to me a year and a half later and say, how are you feeling? Okay, let's talk about Katt Williams did an just explosive interview. And just remind people of Katt Williams is he's a really smart stand-up and actor for the last 30 years. And he goes on Shannon Sharp's Club Shay Shay YouTube show and podcast. I don't even know. This is like, I heard it said over 5 million views, probably more by now. And he goes off, and you guys listen to it. I listen to it. And I mean, I feel like the gist is, he is basically like, there's all these other black male comedians that he feels are not as talented as he is and have lied about their careers and about things. He says some are plants. I mean, this is like, he says about Kevin Hart, he says, in 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show. There being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He's talking about that before Kevin got all his deals.
Right.
I don't know. I knew Kevin Hart when he was on the panel with me at Chelsea Lately. And he was just starting to become popular. And I remember some producer being like, "Oh, I was in Atlanta." And he goes, "Oh, Kevin Hart does this really cool thing. He's like, soccer moms love him. He sells out he does the show, and then he does an after party, and people pay for the after party." So I don't know. Like, I just know that Kevin Hart was like hustling, and he was kind of doing different things to promote himself early on.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't.
So I'm not really sure about all of these timelines. Like, he was just really speaking like all the truth, and I'm like, I don't know about all of this.
Yeah, I think Katt Williams probably, coming from a long, history and baggage in this town, and he's bitter and cynical with these particular guys. But when coming in and listening to it, if one listens to it, you have to use your own common sense But it's like, at the end of the day, all of the guys he's talking about are funny guys. They're talented guys. They did hustle. Like, don't get me started on Steve Harvey on Family Feud, because Julie and I will sit and watch that for 10 hours fucking straight, okay? Because we love it. But that's not to say that these guys didn't steal these jokes from him. And there's receipts to prove it. I'm a huge, humongous Katt Williams fan, both of us. Huge. And the receipts are there.
And he basically says that they weren't friendly to each other. He says that Steve Harvey called to try to take Bernie Mac's job away from him on Ocean's 11. And then he goes on to say they're all married to the same looking light-skinned black woman who nobody wants to interview. And then somebody did put Black Onidus is the site
Black
that I
Owned
follow.
Us.
Oh, Black Owned Us.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
Black owned US, maybe.
I don't know, but that site put it together, and their wives do have a similar style and look and ethnicity, and but whatever. Who cares?
Yeah,
who you
I
fall
think
in love
none
with.
of that
Like, I think
matters.
that's kind of like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
In listening to him, I don't know. I've seen his stand up, but honestly, it makes me want to go see his stand up.
It's so funny.
Oh
He's
my
so
God.
Watch the
smart.
specials.
And so whether
funny.
you want but when he said a plant, he goes, this person is a plant. What did you guys take from that? Because I am very confused by people talking about industry plants. I don't understand what they're getting at. Because I don't also believe in the theories of like, there's 4 people in Hollywood that, I don't believe in, that they're eating baby's blood. And I don't believe that they anoint one person
And,
to
like,
be
the Illuminati and the
Beyonce. I
glitterati.
just don't believe it because we
Yeah.
all know there's just too many players to do this,
Yeah.
this conspiracy. So I don't believe that all these 7 guys got together and was like, let's all do this together and fuck over Katt Williams. I don't know that's really what he's saying. It was a lot to take in.
Yeah,
What was
I
your
tried
opinion?
to get you to not listen to it and just listen to, because the thing with Katt Williams is, he does smoke a lot of marijuana, which he freely admits.
But he says he's had no other drug besides that,
But
ever.
I can speak for myself, and I've done every drug, and marijuana is strong.
And he was drinking too.
Oh, and you get
During the interview.
During the
yeah,
podcast.
and
So
I think
that's,
you can just tend to get, be a little dive into the conspiracy theories, and it makes you a little bit paranoid. So I think it's hard if it's like it's like getting into the cabal of the pedophile cabal and the
Right.
baby's blood and the Illuminati and.
But don't you think that kind of what he's getting at being and I think it's what he's showing with the wives, with the guys, that the guys all fall under a very similar umbrella and are all sort of the same. The plants, the gatekeepers, all sort of do and move and groove to the same beat of the same drum. He does not. And because he does not, and he does not, I mean, he doesn't. He
has
is
like that his hair will be. You got to watch the specials. They're so funny, Heather.
He's unique, and his point of view is different.
Yeah.
He isn't necessarily. We don't know what his sexuality is. We don't know. He isn't flaunting a wife. He isn't fronting like that. He's giving.
I guess he has one biological son, and the rest he's adopted.
So.
Oh, that's nice.
It is nice. So so I do think that what that gatekeeping, that thing, and then the planting and the do is I think that he's seen as someone that they all think is hilarious and funny, and that they maybe they have people go and watch his shit and take from him, or it's also a matter of he has been kept out of things because he is unique and he is different and he doesn't follow the line or toe the line or do the same thing that they all do, even though they steal from him.
He also said that Harvey Weinstein asked to suck his dick in front of a bunch of agents. And I just don't believe that story. I'm sorry, Katt Williams.
Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein.
I just think that's just. I think at that point it was later in the interview after a few shots, and like nobody else has there's no other other men that say that he was into men. Like all the women's stories match up,
Right.
And I'm just kind of like, and I don't care if he's gay or whatever. Whatever. But I'm just kind of like, this just felt like it was at a certain point grabbing,
Right.
as you got a little bit, And that's just my opinion. Someone's just listening to it.
Yeah, but that's why-
he's saying all these guys are liars. He's saying they're all liars,
Yeah.
and I'm saying I call bullshit on that story.
But
So
the
I'm
important thing,
like,
that's the thing about that interview is that unfortunately, he loses credibility at certain points, and then it makes people think perhaps he's not telling the truth about the joke stealing, but the receipts are there, the exact jokes that he came out with before with a timeline. These people stole.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
I believe, particularly.
Who was it that stole his joke?
Cedric the Entertainer stole the astronaut rocket.
And is Cedric still alive?
Yeah.
He sat on a bench. He played music. He stole it to a T. It was a full bit.
To a T.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just one line. It wasn't just.
It wasn't an idea.
No.
It wasn't a. Is it, my back fat comes out of my bra.
Yeah.
Thought.
It's
the guy, a stool, a thing, the music, this motion.
Fully realized
this
it.
motion with he copied the entire thing.
And it was Katt Williams' closer for his show. That a show that Cedric the Entertainer was at.
Why didn't he reveal
egregious.
that right when it happened as it happened? Because the internet wasn't where it was at. It would be a harder thing to reveal.
He wasn't even on Wildin' Out yet because he got his specials blew up when he was on Wildin' Out, which was on MTV with Nick Cannon. He's never been as famous as them.
No.
And he doesn't have the power. It's like, he's speaking truth to power. Finally, like on our podcast, we say it's Karma 24. And I couldn't believe when that came out. Like, it takes a lot of guts to do that. He's scared he's going to get blackballed. Sitting there high and drunk.
But you know what? With what blackballing? Because he can do his own things. He can produce his own specials. He can get his own specials out there. People more than ever are going to want to see his show. I think it was a great move, whether he's telling 100% the truth or a little bit exaggerated. If he comes to your town, I mean, hell yeah, you should go buy a ticket.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be some fucking juicy scoop because he's got nothing to lose now. Anything that he was holding in, he's really going to go for
maybe
it
it's
now.
personal, too. He knows all of them.
Yeah.
He's putting them on blast.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you put 5 of your friends that you've known in stand-up on blast, like, that have stolen your jokes? You'd be fucked.
And then he's like, well, Steve Harvey, he doesn't really do stand-up anymore. And it's like, okay, like, some people treat stand-up differently. Some people work out every day and run 3 miles a day, and other people go to Pilates once a week, okay?
And other people pretend they work out.
And they both say they exercise. Right. So it's like, yes, there's some people that are hardcore about the art of stand-up, and clearly he's one of them. And then there's other people like Steve Harvey that can do stand-up, does it, but also is really busy doing other shows and he's not doing 100 shows a year, and he should not be. And so I didn't get like the anger towards that.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
You just have to think about the baggage from the industry and just really understand that he's just been grinding and grinding. He feels shut out by these guys. He mentioned Tyler Perry. I think, and it's just the baggage and the trauma from years and years in this industry.
It's like when Mark Maron was doing his podcast.
The bitterness.
Mark Maron, who was a prolific stand-up for years and years and years, and then he did his podcast, and then he became like a podcaster. And I don't know that he was doing the same amount of stand-up at the time when he was doing the podcast, but the level of shit that he talked. But now he's not talking too much shit.
He has all his TV shows.
He's got TV shows. He is in his bitter. He is in his, and I'm sure that with Katt Williams, if he got to a different, he's in his phase. He's in his phase of feeling fucked the fuck over, and he wants to talk about it. And he was
in the flop era, but now he's going to come out of it. It's Karma 24. You said encourage people to buy tickets. I hope
maybe he's in his Raquel selfish era.
Era.
He's about to get the come up,
and hopefully he does, because he is
so talented,
supremely talented.
It's
and
a juicy,
so funny.
It's a juicy listen, is what I would say to you guys.
Juicy listen.
Okay, I just thought this was crazy. This is from Bravo Superfans, and that is Kelly Bessimone.
What?
Like 25 years ago,
I thought
looking
that's Sutton.
very much like
I
Sutton.
thought that was Sutton too.
One is Kelly Bessimone, and one is Sutton.
Which one's which?
Wait.
Sutton is Sutton.
On the right with the white collar?
The white collar is Sutton.
Okay, yeah.
Kelly Bessimone has short hair, and it just goes to show you why when you have a girlfriend that says, you know what would look cute on you? A pixie cut is when you should say, I don't know if I want to cut my long hair.
I have one of my best friends.
Even, you know what, I'm going to say it for Jennifer Aniston. Whoever told you to go back to the Rachel cut, I totally disagree.
One of my best friends came to me and she's like, oh, blah, 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 said I should get bangs. And I was just thinking, they're trying to fuck you over. You don't need bangs. But I didn't know how to say, like, your friends are hating on you. It's like, it was terrible advice. Thank God she didn't do it. But yeah, like, the thing about Kelly Bensimon that I was been really noticing on Girls Trip is how crucial her hair is to her look. And that's not even shade.
Yeah.
She's lucky she has it. She has great hair. It frames her face perfectly.
Exactly, yeah.
And like, I don't even understand who that other person was.
Now
I
you're
almost need a
watching
DNA
Girls.
test.
Let's talk about Girls Trip. Are you enjoying the Girls Trip with the OGs? With Sonia was a real mess on the last one. And I love it. I said this before. I say we need more Girls Trip and bring back, do it city exclusive.
Yeah.
But with a couple wild cards, a couple one-hit wonders that have some weirdness to prove.
Yeah.
And bring them and put it together, you know. Have Kelly Dodd Leventhal come and throw in a Gina Kino and a Gretchen, and then bring in, you know, some of the current people filming as well. That's what you want. You want a couple current people filming, and a couple people that has some beef, that are good TV, and put them on an island.
This is my favorite one, I think, because it is city specific. So the level of like relationships and history and like Julie pointed out, which I like loved, that, and if you watch it, and the thing with Girls Trips that I really like is that they're so rewatchable. Like I've rewatched them all many, many times. Like I love the one at Dorinda's where she goes kooky and is eating the pizza and they're not allowed to eat in the room and shit. But so this is totally worth a rewatch. Julie's like, every single time it's just Kelly and what's the other one's name? Oh, Kristen.
Yeah.
So you really can see Ramona, Sonia, and Luann consistently and constantly avoiding being alone with them.
Well, I'm really glad that they shared this this incident that I'd heard about from other people on the show, which was about Ramona losing her 2 bikinis.
Oh God.
And accusing the staff.
Martin.
And you know, oh my God. Okay, so thank you for. I really appreciate you cleaning my bathing suit. Okay, but you know what? You can't put it in with a lot of other people's stuff. It's a really cute white bathing suit, you know. And Avery shopped it with me. I thought it looked really, really great. I'm finally 10 enough to wear it, and I can't find it. Okay. Oh, sorry, Martin. Sorry, Martin. I found the bathing suit. It was actually with Sonia, but you know what? Still, again, don't get our stuff mixed up. All right. So yeah,
I mean, and also how many?
I think they didn't show as much drama that they should have. I think they're trying to save Ramona a little, being that she's gotten in some shit lately. Because he was like, "This is so hard. This is so hard," and I'm like, "They haven't been that horrible." So I think there's a lot that are on the editing room floor to not draw more attention to the fact that Ramona was not asked to go to BravoCon and everything because she, you know, double down on her language of choice.
Well, the revelation has been the Kelly Bensimon, Kristen Takeman, whatever feud or whatever it is they're having. Like, you're a fan situation.
We love that.
You're a fan.
Yeah, I mean,
calling someone a fan at this point.
We're taking it.
Yeah.
We're taking it. We're
like,
going with it. We're
fan.
running with it. You're a fan.
You're a fan.
Which is one of the best things she's ever said.
So insulting.
And
It is a good time.
Has avoided. I just need to say, for me personally, because I do enjoy being annoyed by Kristen Takeman, who does avoid talking about her disgusting husband, and who got on Ashley Madison 72,000 times.
It was a joke, you guys. It was a joke. He signed up as a joke. You signed up for Ashley Madison as a joke. Like, God, you guys.
And then after having to be pushed to be said that, you had to be pushed to be said that.
Yeah.
It took you 4 weeks to even say that it was a joke.
It's just a joke.
Deflecting. You're deflecting all the time. You're
I mean,
deflecting.
it was like, you know, they just filled out a form.
Yeah.
I told you guys, though, I did it too. I did it when I was at Chelsea Lately on my office computer. I filled out an Ashley Madison form with just my age and my zip, not a photo and nothing else. And I came back from lunch, and I could have been fucked every which way up and down Ventura Boulevard if I wanted to. South of the boulevard, north of the boulevard, anybody wanted to meet me. And
Oh
then,
my God, you guys.
Then I
So we're gonna do that.
then I thought for a minute, I go, I better delete this right now, because one day I might be on an ultimate girls trip, and they're going to go,
right.
Heather, you went on Ashley Madison to get some Valley D. and behind Peter's back when you were 39 years old or whatever I was at the time. And so, like, who knows? It could have been a little bit of a jok. There's no girl that said she met him. There was no girl that came out and said she met him.
Are you saying that you think that husband of Kristen Takeman, who went on Ashley Madison, you think he went on as a joke, paid however much money, made 72 transactions as a joke?
72 transactions, that's difficult.
Yeah, no, Heather, you were a writer on a comedy
and you're
show.
A woman.
He's a man who works in finance.
And you're a woman. The
reason he never...
And when I saw those responses, I clenched my asshole and my vagina so tight, and I deleted it. And I just was, it was terrifying that many people wanted to meet
the reason is because
a married woman, not knowing what I look like, my size. That's what I'm just saying, girls. Don't ever think that guys are picky. They are not picky.
And I think the only reason nothing ever happened with that guy, and I believe they've come through it and worked through it, whatever, was because the thing with Ashley Madison is that it was all fake.
Yeah.
It was like people were paid to pretend that they were going to meet up. They didn't have any girls that joined except for you, Heather, which is why everyone in the Valley, every single man in Southern California.
Wait, it was fake?
Yeah.
Forever or just in the beginning?
I think in general, they could never, when this is what I would tell Julie, because I'd hear the ads on Howard Stern, I would be like, no married woman is on here. Only think people on here are married men.
Right.
So they would have to generate and pay people to message with these guys.
Right.
And so that...
so then that's what happened. Okay, well, that's good information. Too bad she didn't have you on the trip to explain that, because that would...
So I could let her know your husband would have cheated Kristen,
but
except there was no
we
woman
talk
available.
about the hottest girl in America, and that is Gypsy Rose Blanchard. People are obsessed. She is doing TV interviews, podcast interviews. She will, I predict, have her own podcast, probably under Nick Viall's umbrella, because he's got an interview with her. And she and her husband are going to talk about, ways to screw post-prison. I'm sure she'll do some stuff on Munchausen's and then something else. And then she'll probably be recapping Housewives by May.
Yeah.
Well, let's not forget, she 100% will be on the next season of Dancing with the Stars.
AKA Dancing with the Criminals. Julie likes to call it Dancing with the Criminals.
We always have to have a couple criminals
Here she
on.
said she tried to shoot her mom 10 years ago.
Perfect for Dancing with the Stars.
She said her mom had a gun. She didn't realize it was a BB gun, and she shot her a few times. Good thing it was a BB gun, because the mom just grazed, had some grave wounds or whatever. But she did go to the hospital for it. And she said, when she went to the hospital, she said, medical records shown during the special confirmed that Dee Dee, the mother, was treated for some kind of pellet gun injury, but she claimed at the time she was approached by a man demanding her wallet, who then shot her after she gave it to him. I want to find that report, and if she said that the man was black, my God. Anyway, so that's what she said, but it was actually Gypsy who shot her. So Gypsy was already doing violent shit against her mom. And listen, what the mom did was beyond horrific. But the world celebrating it and every influencer wanting to hang out with her is a little weird.
The first thing I said was like, well, let's not forget. I mean, she did murder someone.
And she has that weird voice. So can I just do the podcast? If you guys go on Gypsy Rose's podcast, I'm going to tell you right now, we're fucking done. And I'm going to say it right now.
What do you mean? Why? We want to go on and talk about how to do it and get that big D.
Hi, and welcome to Gypsy Rose and my husband. Hi. You guys, I've been wanting to get you on this podcast for like a really, really long time. I don't know why Heather McDonald Juicy Scoop was like against it, but I'm really glad that you're on. I'm really glad that you're on it. So let's talk about Vanderpump Rules.
Well, first of all, Heather's a murder phobe. So that's the first thing.
That's the problem.
Like, that's the problem. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
Why is she so against people that might
their
have committed murder and then went to prison and then got out and is now selling some really great lash serum?
I just need to say this, and I know no one will agree with it, and I don't care, but this lady kills her mom and agreed with you. Horrific, but she did kill her mother, okay?
The boyfriend that I found had autism. And
Great.
I left the door open for him and put the knife by the counter just to be convenient, okay?
Okay, so she's a manipulative, sociopath who has her mother killed. Great, now she's going to be on Dancing with the Stars.
Sure.
Meanwhile, Lorena Bobbitt
Yes, Julie has said this 3
A
times.
hero of the world, a hero who cut that dick off of the rapist is nowhere to be found.
Where is she?
Exactly.
Maybe
Why
she should
isn't
go on
she on
the
Dancing
show,
with the
right?
Stars?
Well, listen.
She could go on Girl.
I have a cast. Okay, Ultimate Girls Trip. You guys, a lot of people don't want to see Monica back on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. We do Monica. Okay? We do Gypsy Rose.
Yes, great.
I say we bring in Mama June.
Oh,
Mama June.
Sexy.
I say we bring in Abby Lee,
It's getting hotter.
dancer, because she's got some strong opinions about people. And was there anyone else that we had? Oh, we have that's Casey Anthony.
Oh, great.
Her dad
Perfect.
just came out, and it was proven after a lie detector test that he never molested her, or according to a lie test, or the child. So we need to hear from Casey Anthony again.
Beautiful.
You know, top
Oh my
bomb.
God. No.
As Nancy Grace would say, I don't want Nancy Grace as our final person to go on
Let's have
the
Lorena
Ultimate
Bobbitt.
Girls trips.
Lorena Bobbitt.
Lorena Bobbitt, but also can we please bring in
Natalie
Grace.
yes.
Natalie Grace, because she's become real popular too. And according to the season 2 of Natalie Grace, she was in fact a child.
Now,
When the parents put her in a bad neighborhood and got her social services and said she's actually 25. They, according to the DNA, probably thought she was more like around like 11 or 12 or maybe around 10 or something when she was living on her own in that bad neighborhood.
The mother abused her. This
mother was
story
horrific.
is horrendous, horrific in
Yeah,
every
we really
level
needed
from
Gypsy
beginning
Rose
to
to
end.
come over and murder that mom.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. You're right.
I mean, I'm sorry,
Or
but
to leave
if
the
we
knife
can just,
out for the
right. Have the guy go
exactly.
over there too.
Yeah, I
that
mean-
woman, even in photos, like gives me the chills.
Yeah,
she is
the
so
chills.
scary.
I think
And
it
the
was-
husband too.
I think it was
It's disgusting.
2 horrible people
Yep.
that I kind of was like, I don't understand the motivation of why they sought out to not only adopt a child that was already older, 6, that's already a challenge, from the Ukraine, already a challenge, and had dwarfism, already a challenge. Like,
But it
what
turned out-
made these people want to do it? Were they hoping to get press from it? Was it like,
I didn't get it.
Clearly they weren't the right family for it, but it was like, usually, you know, there's certain couples that really set out to do that, and they're really wonderful, and they're put on this earth, and they're like, we just feel like it's our calling. It was weird. They had 2 biological kids, I think.
One of them was so gifted,
They had the gifted
and they
one.
had money. I
It
didn't
was
know
so
that.
weird.
weird.
What the
And then, to
motivation
this, and
was
then
so
turn on
weird.
her and abuse her, which I totally believe that she was absolutely abused, and it was horrible.
But she had also come. The weird thing, if you watch season 2, and I couldn't finish because I was so grossed out.
Yeah.
But she had been with another family in the United States,
And they didn't want her either.
And they didn't. Now,
They
so
saw
I do-
weird stuff too.
So I will say,
they saw stuff that was questionable as well.
yeah. I mean,
She
she's
had an
not.
entire apartment complex
Turned
hiding
out-
from her.
Turned out,
Yeah,
they
no, she's-
what they didn't realize is that she had a chip, and it was from Vanderpump.
yeah,
Kidding,
she
comedy
was-
show, comedy show, comedy show. It's a comedy show, and it popped in my head.
She was running a troll account. She at the
She's
end.
Brittany Vax 6969.
6969 scissor.
Yeah.
She so in that season 2, and it was gross out, and I couldn't watch it. But then I did want to read about it, and blah blah blah. So there was weird shit going on with her from the beginning. She was kind of a weird bad seed. Now it could be because she was probably damaged and abused,
Of course.
from the second she was born.
Not being picked up,
All of it.
and being an outcast because of her disease.
And it's so
yeah.
it's completely tragic, and it's
Her
sad.
birth, yeah.
You know, and
But yeah, even spoiler alert. So fast forward, if you're watching this and haven't seen season 2, her family that picked her up at the grocery store that she's been living with they're done with her.
she's accusing them of keeping her hostage.
And they said she bit a baby
yeah.
and they kicked her out.
Wait, the family we see in the beginning of season 2 turn on her?
Yes.
She's kicked out. And they
Yep.
said she bit a baby. And then she said they're holding me hostage. And now I'm like done with the whole thing. I'm not watching season 2.
That's what I'm telling you. She
Yeah.
and Casey Anthony have so much in common.
Yeah.
They could be bad, but they also might have had a
Oh my
fucked
God,
up
you
childhood.
guys.
What? Do you have another cast member?
No, but I'm thinking that on Girls Trip, what if it turned in to like Bad Girls Club? Especially because she...
Bad Girls Trip.
Bad Girls Trip. Because
That's
you have,
it. Bad Girls Trip.
Bad Girls
got
Trip.
it.
Because she's fucking
bad.
evil. And Abby Abby can be mean, so they got that
Yeah.
leaner bobbit will cut your fucking dick off, obviously, and that's amazing. And then just we can have like a thing of like pop off, pop off, pop off. It'll be incredible.
Imagine
Incredible.
how Abby Lee Miller can gather her together, plus Gypsy, treat them like dance moms.
Yep.
Oh, it's gold.
Yeah.
It's
they
gold.
all go out to the club. They're gonna all get dressed. Mama June is gonna.
Can it stay all female, or do we have to have Jerry O'Connell show up? Can we
No.
just keep it all female for
No,
once?
all girls. All girls. And no,
Yeah, we
all
need
girls.
Jerry O'Connell and like Michael Rappaport.
To show up and get in on this. Then they start recapping. And I'm like, can we just have one thing? We
Yeah.
created the show about these women. We ought to be the only people that talk about it.
But then they're gonna go. But
You
then they're
guys,
gonna
I have to wrap this up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Julie will never
Brandy
stop
and
talking about
Julie,
it.
everybody, you have such great content, and I know they want more. Tell them.
We have a podcast called Dumb Gay Podcast. Go to our website, julieandbrandy.com. There's a Facebook page. We don't run it. It's called All Things Julie and Brandy. If you want to go there and just
Talk
find
shit about them because they don't run it, so they can't.
Hey,
remove
we
it.
don't know what's on there. We don't even know how to. We're not even on Facebook, so we don't even read it. They're
And
probably
you
all there
have
just like.
a fabulous Patreon, and that's really what keeps you guys
Keeps the lights on. You know what I mean?
keeps you guys
Yeah.
clothed,
Yeah.
clothed and fed.
You can find out about the Patreon on julieandbrandy.com.
Thank
That's
you
it.
so much. Of course, I'm at heathermcdonald.net. My Patreon is every Friday, and so many more. We do Juicy Crimes. We did. Shannon and I went deep dive on a Gypsy Rose. Juicy Crime, which is up there then. This weekend is going to be a special episode of Get Me Behind Gates. It's all on heathermcdonald.net, along with my new and delicious merch. Not delicious. I mean, it's clothing. But anyway, thank you guys. Love you. Bye-bye.